to monitor the 2 2 minutes. We're already across 4 hours plus. Madam Rita, good evening to you, man. Talk to us.
Good evening, Mr. Elvis and Lame Mommy, and I'm greeting everybody in the panel, our Dream Nation, Mr. Jonathan, Mr. Chris, Victory, Abdul Malik, Mr. Odua, Mr. Stay Humble, and Black Panther. Thank you very much, Mr. Elvis, for even putting me because I thought that obviously I came late, and I thought that there was no chance I was able to come into the panel. I have missed a lot, and I'm just going to speak on based on what everybody has said. Black Panther, my brother, thank you very much for that little history and understanding. You see what Black Panther explained. This is what I expect the mainstream media in Nigeria to start educating Nigerians, but obviously they're not going to do it. Even the National Orientation Agency, these are the kinds of things, they need to play out because the average Yoruba person, the average Beni person, even the average Hausa person, the average Ijo person or Okrika person, they don't understand what is really happening and why Nigeria is the way it is, including those of us in diaspora. You'll be so surprised. A lot of people in diaspora, they don't even understand why Nigeria is the way it is. So little histories, it's not everybody that can go into the history books or understand, what happened in the past and why we are where we are today. But it's our duty. That's why we have programs like this. It's our duty to um, teach people and let people have a clear understanding, of why Nigeria is the way it is. Nigeria was not designed to grow or to do well. Nigeria was designed to fail um, for the benefit of the elites who will sell us out to the so-called first world countries, and that's a fact. It's not a guesswork. It's a fact, and it is left for us to change Nigeria. This information Black Panther explained, we have gotten to the point where many Nigerians do not care. Many Nigerians will still not understand. And do you know why? Because we are greedy, because we are wicked, we are self-centered, and we have this superiority complex. That's what I call superiority. Yeah. So they just don't want to go down to the basis and understand that we don't need to fight each other. We have a common enemy. The common enemy is insecurity, hunger, bad representation, and just sheer greed from the people who make the decisions. But it's a cluster of people that would understand that. There's something Mr. Stay Humble said, and the last statement about we can't have one common like one common unit fighting the system. There is they say there's sort of diversity, diverse views kind of help a nation to grow. But in this instance, people like Mr. Stay Humble, I'm not saying that in a bad light, but your train of thoughts, this is my own aspersion about that, is we fail to realize, or rather you fail to realize, that Nigeria is not a normal country. It is not a normal country. Things will not go according to the books. The democracy that we think we are practicing is actually crystocracy. It's not democracy. So sometimes we want to present certain things, use certain nations as an example, which is not bad. However, Nigeria would not work in that system because it's not going to fit in Nigerian system and the psyche of Nigerians and the mentality of Nigerians. How do we overcome that? You see what Black Panther said? He explained it. If you can imagine, if you had a station, or if you have a certain many stations like this, or mainstream media at with, if they were magnanimous enough to say, what, let us have somebody to a special day where we come and talk about the nation and Nigerian history and all that, people will start to get it. But that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, and I think everybody knows why. So at this point in time, Nigerians need to unite, even if we have the different so-called activists. In fact, let me respect them now because I'm not in Nigeria. Whether they are faking it or whatever, for whatever reason, each and every one of them should come together. Because when the opposition, when our problems see this is some sort of division, they always take advantage of it and they present it to make it seem like Nigerians are not ready or Nigerians are not serious. And they laugh. And guess what? They are always right. They understand Nigerian psyche. They understand our body language. They understand our mentality. They understand that we don't even know what's going on. We just follow like sheep. At least majority of Nigerians living in Nigeria follow like sheep. And that's the truth. And another aspect, Mr. Stay Humble, you mentioned was sort of the diaspora has failed Nigeria. I would say yes and no. Yes. No, being that the fact that our system does not support diaspora voting, what that has created in most diasporans is a lackadaisical attitude towards the state of Nigeria. It has brought some sort of docile oral behavior. When you talk about Nigeria, oh, let's come together. They say, oh, even the different unions in Nigeria, in diaspora, they always fight and backbite each other because we have a superiority complex in Nigeria. That's how most of us were raised. That's how we saw our leaders behave. So somehow it has rubbed us on a lot of us, regardless of if you've lived in diaspora or you have a PhD in America. That attitude, it's only 2% that would change. That attitude, it sort of hibernates, and sometimes a situation will present itself and it will bring its ugly head out in church, in private places, in businesses. These things happen all the time with Nigeria. Even sometimes, I would dare say, even in this panel, I see those kinds of behavior. It's because they say what you see is what you become. What you eat is how you look like. So, what we saw growing up, whether at home or in church or in school, is what we eventually become. Unless we kind of get conscious of these kinds of behavior, these kinds of mentality, we wouldn't change. How many people are going to be conscious of it? Some people would see nothing wrong with that. We see it in everything, in relationships, in marriage, in whatever, in businesses, even colleagues in Nigerians in even in the foreign land. We see this kind of superiority complex thing. It's there. We have a lot of work to do, and it starts with our psyche, our mentality, how we reason. Even with your education, I kid you not, even with as educated as we think we are, we can be educated with a classroom or what they call it, the West will call education. Let me put it that way. It's really not education. Education, I think, is real life communication, real life behaviors. It shows your level of education really and truly, because Nigerians love title. Nigerians love to be called doctor, whatever, whether it's medical or PhD or even honorary. They just love that title. I want to be called chief this. Oh, I want to be called Mrs. Somebody. I want to be called Chief Mr. Somebody. Those things, it doesn't matter. Because you can have those titles, you could be called professor, you can have those titles, but you are useless to the society. We had good luck, Jonathan. The professor, okay. The man from Babylon, he claimed he went to whatever. He claimed he went to school in the US. This is where we are. There's somebody who is distinct amongst these politicians, who is not even perfect, is Peter Obi. When he talks about how he grew up, he didn't get a first class in Nigeria because Nigerians, they love, you see, we're going back to that title thing. Oh, I got a first class in business. I got a first class in accounting. So, how are you implementing it in the society? How are you implementing it? Peter Obi now, he's gotten to this level of his life. He has now realized that education is not a scam. Yes. Number two, how you implement what you have learned, your experiences from other countries, from people who are in the industry, people who are not having this superiority complex. all they do is solution based, or is, they're trying to change the narrative, trying to change the standard of living of people. And he's saying we can do it. And it's very possible. That's one educate. I will call Peter Obi the only elite so far. Because I kid you not, all these politicians, former governors or ministers, many of them are so-called Western well-educated. Yes. Kwakwanso he has a PhD of, is in water engineering from somewhere in India. But in 2023 election, you can see the way he was talking and being sarcastic. That superiority complex came again, and he kind of watered down Peter Obi as if he was nothing. But where are we today? I don't know. I heard Mr. Jonathan talk about Mr. Dixon, Cherokee Dixon interview. I didn't watch it because, but it still boils down to that. So, anyway, Mr. Elvis has rang the bell. I'm just going to stop. I thought I had a lot to say. Thank you so much, Mr. Elvis.
Yes, moderator, yes. I even upon now 8 minutes you supposed to get, but I gave you 11 minutes. It's still not enough.
Oh, I
Moderator,
appreciate it. Thank you.
moderator, if you give moderator 1 hour, you have a lot to talk about Nigeria. Thank you, moderator, for coming in to put your voice to this. I'm very, very grateful. I appreciate you all, my people. Everyone, I'm surprised that we still have a full panel at this time. Everyone on the panel have given their submission. For those of you that were trying to come in, unfortunately, I could not help you because the panel is full. But let's have our final submission now. Moderator, we're coming back to you again for your final submission. I'm going straight. Anybody that I called and you are not available, if you come back, you only have 30 seconds and I will stop you on that 30 seconds.
Thank you
You
very
know,
much.
yes.
Thank you very
Mr.
much.
Alaba, your 2 minutes.
Mr. Elvis, you said I should start. I'm surprised you called Mr. Alabo. It's me,
Okay,
right?
okay, you want to do your final submission straight away, right?
Yeah, because you called me.
Okay, okay, go ahead. Thank you, ma.
Okay, thank you so much. What would I say again? So, another thing I want to talk about is we as Nigerians. I was watching this Alex Ekubo's funeral, and everything that happened after, and people talking about how their phones were stolen and all that. And I also listened to, like, there's this person that I follow on Instagram, and she was talking about our attitude, Nigerian, our attitude. Most of us are worse than these people in political positions, and that's the truth. You see, I'm still going back again. I'm still going back to the basics. Many of us have lost track of humanity. We've lost track of how how to love ourselves and respect ourselves. We've lost track of it. Any Nigerian right now, all they think about and all they know is, I want to make money. Even if I have to steal, even if I have to buy people, even if I have to lie, even if I have to misrepresent myself like Kenneth Okonkwo and the rest of them, it's all about money. And it still boils down to this superiority complex, because that is what thrives Nigeria today. If you're a big man, if you have money, if you have a nice car, you know what the politicians, you are the man or you are the woman. Nobody cares how you got there. They just care about getting that to that echelon of the society, period. And it has rubbed off. Not that it's rubbing, it has rubbed off on the younger generation, the teenagers, because that's all they see and that's all they know. We learned some things from our parents' generation. Imagine what our children now are learning from this generation. It's worse. They're going to be worse than us that have bad character. Yes, they're going to be worse. It's unfortunate. And I sometimes, I express my views here. I sometimes I'm in between. Sometimes I don't have hope for Nigeria, because Nigerians, I see no change in their attitude. And most of them are like that because they are not informed about what's really going on. They're not informed that Nigeria was designed to fail. Nigeria is an elephant, and an elephant is big. You cannot finish the meat of an elephant. So another person comes, a government comes, they cut from the elephant, they deal with the foreigners. Another person comes, they say government is continuum. They use that word. But Nigeria is the elephant. The elephant is huge. You can't finish the meat. So anybody that comes now, they're just the chip of the old block. We just have Mr. Peter Obi at this time in our lives. If we miss him, like according to Pade Banjo, kiss Nigeria goodbye. Thank you, Mr. Elvis. Mr. Elvis, okay, maybe I
Okay.
need to continue talking.
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you,
Okay.
Madam Rita. Mr. Alabo, I know you're on the backstage, but you can't come in. The panel is full. You know, my platform can have additional
You can put me
300.
behind because I've just spoken.
Okay, yes, Madam Rita, I've already given that financial mission. Okay, that's fine. Let me put Madam Rita on the backstage, then I bring you in, Mr. Alabo.
Oh, yeah, do shakara now. Oh, yeah, do shakara now. Oh, yeah, do shakara now. Shaka see one. Oh, yeah, something shama woman.